All right, today we're going to get under the hood of Adobe Experience Manager and talk about OSGi. Now, this is the powerful modular framework that really makes AEM tick. And honestly, understanding it is the key to really mastering the platform. So let's dive right in.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the big idea behind OSGi. Then we'll zoom right into its core unit, the bundles. After that, we'll see how everything talks to each other through services, take a peek inside of components and configs, and then finally, we'll put it all together to see the complete picture.
Okay, first up, the big idea. We're going to break down what OSGi actually is, and maybe more importantly, why it is such an absolute game changer for developers.
Let's start with something I think we've all felt. You know that pain, right? You spot a tiny bug, you fix one little line of code, and now you have to wait and wait for the entire massive app to redeploy and restart. It is slow, it is frustrating, and it just kills your flow.
Well, that exact problem is what OSGi was designed to destroy. At its core, it's a dynamic Java framework, and it lets you build your apps from a whole bunch of small, independent, loosely coupled modules that we call bundles. No more giant single block of code. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got that classic monolithic tangle, where everything is connected to everything else. On the right, that's the OSGi way. It's kind of like the difference between having to rebuild your entire house to fix a leaky pipe versus just, fixing the pipe. With OSGi, you can update, add, or even remove pieces on the fly while the rest of the application just keeps on running.
And this right here, this modularity, is precisely why OSGi is the absolute foundation of AEM. AEM isn't some huge single application, it's a whole ecosystem of these bundles all working together. And that makes everything from bug fixes and maintenance to big upgrades way, way more efficient.
So now that we get the big idea, let's zoom in on that fundamental building block, the bundle itself.
So what exactly is a bundle? Well, you might be surprised. At its heart, it's something every single Java developer already knows and loves, a standard jar file. Yep, that's it. That's our starting point.
But, and this is the magic part, it comes with a special superpower. Tucked inside that normal jar is a manifest file, and this file contains specific instructions just for the OSGi framework. It's what turns a regular old jar into a smart, dynamic, manageable module.
Think of this manifest as the bundle's passport and its set of trading rules. The symbolic name and version give it a unique identity, but the real power? That comes from export package, which is basically the bundle saying, hey world, here's the stuff I'm willing to share. And import package, where it says, and here's the stuff I need from you guys to do my job. It's this explicit contract that prevents total dependency chaos. And because they're managed by the OSGi framework, bundles have their own little life story, a life cycle. They get installed, then resolved once all their needs are met, then started up to do their work, and of course, they can be stopped. And here's the kicker. All of this happens dynamically, at runtime, without ever having to hit that dreaded server restart button.
This dynamic lifecycle is pretty much the secret sauce to AEM's incredible flexibility. You need to push a bug fix or roll out a cool new feature. You just update or add one single targeted bundle. I mean, it is a complete game changer for how you develop and maintain your projects.
Okay, so we have all these independent little modules. That's great. But how do they actually work together? Well, that's where services come in. They are the connective tissue of the entire OSGi world. It's the logical next question, isn't it? If all these bundles are designed to be independent, how in the world do they actually talk to each other? The answer is so elegant. The OSGi service registry. Just think of it like a central directory, or maybe even a matchmaking service for your bundles. One bundle can publish a service it offers, and then any other bundle can just look up that service in the registry and start using it. It all happens dynamically. Let me walk you through it. So first, a bundle registers a service. Let's say it's a payment processor. Second, the service registry makes that service discoverable. And finally, another bundle, maybe your shopping cart, finds that service and binds to it to process a payment. Now, if you later deploy a better, faster payment processor, you just swap it out, and the shopping cart dynamically finds and binds to the new one without ever missing a beat. Now, that is the power of loose coupling. All right, we know how bundles communicate.
Now let's crack one open and look at the actual logic inside, the components, and see how we can customize them with configurations.
So inside a bundle, the component is the real workhorse. It's the actual Java class that has all your business logic. It might be implementing a service that it shares with others, or it might be using services that it finds in the registry. And just like bundles, these components have their own managed lifecycle too. But let's get practical. What about all the stuff that's always changing? Things like API keys, feature flags, or settings that need to be different for your dev environment versus your production one. You definitely don't want to be hard-coding that stuff. And this is where OSGi is just brilliant for enterprise development. Components are designed from the ground up to be configured from the outside. What does that mean for you? It means you can change how a component behaves, point it to a new database, turn a feature on or off, without ever touching a single line of code or redeploying the bundle. In AEM, this is handled so beautifully. Your configurations are typically defined in simple JSON files, and, this is the crucial part, you can store them in folders named for specific run modes, like config.dev for development or config.prod for production. AEM is smart enough to automatically pick up the right configuration for whatever environment it's running in. It's clean, it's powerful, and it's just so practical. All right, we've covered a lot of ground. Let's take a breath and bring all these different pieces together to see the complete AEM picture in action. So here's the whole stack laid out. You package your code into a bundle, which is your modular jar. Inside that bundle, a component is the workhorse that implements all your logic. That component then communicates with the outside world through a service, which is like its public contract. And finally, to control how it all behaves in different places, you use an external configuration. Every single piece has a crystal clear role. When you put all these concepts together, you don't just get a system that's powerful. You get one that's robust, flexible, and dynamic. This isn't just theory, okay? This is the actual blueprint for modern scalable AEM development. So, I guess the only question left is, now that you understand the blueprint, what modular solutions are you going to build?